want to build the cart?
Let's do it. So if I was a barista at an event, we would build the cart first thing and then wheel all the equipment into the venue space. So here's what that might look like. Wheel it out. First things first, we'd start building the cart frame. So we would unhook it here. We'll set the, check the direction. These are directional, so there's a little yellow tag, barista side facing this way. Then we'll get the legs. Got a drill and a legs in here.
Do you want me to help you, or do you want to see?
All good.
Feel what it's like solo.
All good. You might not know fully what to do without training.
I haven't read the right training manual.
Yeah, you haven't been through our training course. So these carts are all custom designed and built from scratch. We build them in-house, so we designed it in-house.
So you guys had all this designed and fabbed?
I designed it all.
You designed it all?
I had people then fabricate the frame, but everything was fabricated to the specs that I designed when I was 3D modeling it. So it's a quick 8-bolt assembly on everything.
Dang. How many iterations do you think you did?
Way too many. So now we've got the cart assembled. Normally, you'd use the drill, you'd screw in the 8 bolts. At this point, it's now ready for transport. So now we'll start loading it up with equipment. That way we can, we could wheel it into the venue. So typically I'd get these boxes, interlock them so that they're safely locked together for transport.
Tanos?
Yeah, these are Tanos sustainer boxes. Some of the best out there for equipment transport.
So, I don't know if people saw that, but he latched the boxes together. So he layered them on top of each other, latched them so he could pick up in one movement. Wow, that fits perfectly. Did you design that?
It's intentional.
Wow.
No accidents here when it came to this design. Now it has been a little while since I've loaded up the cart. Panels go in the center.
And how much, like these legs, it could take a ton of weight. Do you have any sense on?
Oh, there's no official strength numbers on it, but they've never broken. So
Yeah.
that's all we really need.
Strong enough.
So a wastewater jug. Yeah, freshwater jug. So this is basically the cart ready to roll. If it's a paved surface, everything can get loaded up in one load and wheeled into the venue space. So
One trip to the location.
Yep. A maximum of 2 trips. Sometimes, some baristas, I want to give them some flexibility. There's different comfort levels, different environmental terrain things. And for those cases, we also have this little dolly in case it is more treacherous terrain, but maybe still paved. You know, in certain cities, San Francisco, there's hills and crazy stuff. So this dolly just gives them the flexibility to do 2 trips just for their comfort and safety, or if it might be the best for the environmental challenges we have. So then this will latch into this dolly, and then we could actually put all of our gray boxes on here. So then, if they wanted to do 2 trips, that's very easy. They can do 1 trip of a huge stack of the gray boxes, and then another trip of the cart. This is also a good option if they have more customizations, a bunch of custom cups or extra dairy or a latte printer. They have the flexibility for a maximum of 2 trips to the service location. We've also thought through okay, how do we organize all of these boxes? And the biggest thing was anything that gets dirty or wet from coffee grounds, that's yellow box. So they come back, they grab their yellow box. That's everything that needs to be washed, cleaned, or got wet or dirty during service. So they take their yellow box and they take their cooler. They refill water jugs, wash and clean everything in the yellow box, empty their wastewater, put their coffee also back on the shelf, FIFO that, first in, first out, keep the product as fresh as possible. And then maybe they need to restock teas or things like matcha or tea that have a longer shelf life. We don't necessarily We don't keep those where they are pulling them. Though they live in here because they have a much longer shelf life, whereas coffee, syrups, and dairy obviously don't. So those are going in and out of the cart with every single service. So they might need to restock business cards, matcha, tea bags, that sort of thing, and then they're all done. So let's say the barista does arrive they arrive at their venue and they start setting up. There's going to be a lot. It'd probably be 20 minutes to get everything like organized, staged for an active service, plumbed in, heated up. There's a lot that goes into that. But functionally, like what the customer would see, if they, the customer doesn't have any idea most of the time what this equipment is or what it does or why it takes us this long to set up. But one of the first things our baristas will do because this cart, is not that pretty when it's not service ready. It's very industrial looking, aluminum frame. So the first thing after the plumbing's connected that the baristas will do is throw on these panels just so that way things are looking more presentable. So, all of our panels are designated, left side, right side, all of that. It's been a long time since I've done this. The panels will just magnetize right on. Hopefully these are all in the right place. Panels magnetize. So we've got the left, the right, and so we'll magnetize the panels on here. And so then it actually looks more presentable, like a real, cart that's guest facing and service ready. This is now looking, more professional and customer facing. We replace these panels. That's what's nice about this design too, is panels are the first things to get ugly and nasty. So because they're replaceable and basically disposable after a certain lifespan, we can keep our carts looking fresher for longer. So then, of course, the espresso machine, like there's power and plumbing that has to be connected, but ultimately it would be positioned here. The grinder, would be removed from its protective case. We just do soft-sided cases. Put that in position, put on the plants, put on the hopper, fill the beans, install the menu. The menu is the last thing that goes up. Once the customers see the menu, they think it's, we're ready for service, but usually the machine's still heating, so we kind of try to keep the menu down and until, the machine is heated and service time has begun. And
so is this like a bracket? A bracket for the menu?
Yeah, this is like a multi-purpose bracket. This bracket here is for the overhead sign. So you have the overhead sign, menu, and umbrella. So it's kind of a multi-purpose bracket. So you can put an umbrella. You've got multiple spots to put the umbrella. You've got a mount for the overhead sign and menu as well.
This looks like a famous Goodhart 3D printed
it sure is.
Peripheral.
Sure is, yep.
Paraphernalia?
Just accessories, really. We've designed and 3D printed a lot of stuff. This being one of them. The ones I like are, we 3D printed our syrup carrier. So from the big picture perspective, like I said, anything that gets wet or dirty in here, this is our oh crap box. This is like backup plumbing, also for countertop service. We've had enough times where things went bad, portafilter forgotten, water pump goes out. The story of me flying to San Francisco, that was before we had the purple box with a backup. The backup water pump is in there, but most of that backup plumbing is in here. So extra milk pitcher, like a portafilter basket. These things can completely cripple your service. And I realized I don't want a $30 part to ruin a $700 service. I should keep spares in there. So this is all purple boxes, emergency, oh crap, something went horribly wrong or was forgotten, extra power cord, extra tamper, absolute service stopping things in here. So that's kind of a backup there. Our orange box is our core plumbing. So we've designed all of that. We have the water pump, accumulator tank. This connects to both pitcher rinser and the espresso machine. That's our orange box. In our red box, it's anything dry goods. So anything that, other than towels, of course start clean and dry, and so they're in this box. to the event, but after towels have been used, they usually come back in either the yellow box or the cooler, since those things all get washed and clean. So red box, you can see fresh towels ready to go. What else do we have? Power is in here, so machine, power cord, power strip, extension cords, and then like things like, you know, apron, scale, another tamper, thermometer. All of our baristas, before every single service, to verify service start time and do a little quality control, they make a drink, they take a photo of that drink with the thermometer inside. And so we see a lot. One, they started service on time and we're making drinks by the time service should have started. Two, we can see how their latte art is and how it's coming along. Hopefully over time they progress. And three, we know it's not too cold. Sometimes that can happen where baristas are not making the drinks hot enough or maybe too hot. And so this just helps them calibrate so that we're consistently given the quality of drink we want. So that's red box covered. We were starting to cover yellow box. A lot of this is kind of plumbing and organization. This is like a custom 3D printed syrup container. So the entire syrup jugs, bottles, can fit in here. That's why this box is so tall, to accommodate the syrups. It's got this hand carry, fits 6 bottles.
Nice.
This was so nice. I mean, I can't tell you. I used to use glass bottles. I used to loose carry them in a mist-sized cooler, and having that tip over and smash like 6 glass syrup bottles, glass and syrup all over. Absolute nightmare. 0 out of 10. Don't recommend. Then these are at the bottom. This is just a wastewater connector, knockbox insert. This goes in the countertop. Our pitcher insert, service mat. Then these I really like as well. These are all custom designed and 3D printed. This is your mission critical service items. These actually should have been. They're a little harder to stay at the top, but the vision here was these are at the top of your yellow box. If you want to spot check, am I okay? Do I have all those critical things? That's what this is. These are the deal breaker, the first line of defense before the orange box, right? Before the purple box. And so they magnetize together. These are all your absolute critical wares, any of which basically any of which will stop service. These 3 will absolutely stop service. And so I want baristas to peek in, visually check, and know that they're okay and can actually pull shots of espresso and serve guests. So that's the yellow box.
And are all these like quick connect on the plumbing?
Yep, all of our
Pretty
plumbing
easy.
is, color coded. You can see the color coding on every single one. They're all quick connect fittings. So, plumbing is kind of the challenging part. That's like most baristas don't have plumbing experience. They can't just be just flying by the seat of their pants trying to figure out what connection goes where. Everything is color-coded, labeled with quick connect fittings. Our wastewater fittings are not compatible, of course, with our freshwater fittings, so there's no like cross-contamination or anything like that. So blue box is just disposable stuff, consumables, cups and lids, that's it. Nothing fancy or special there. Green box is kind of our catch-all box. We've got our menu in here, our hopper, and I hope it's in here. Yes, it is. The reason this is so long, floor protector. Do not leave your clients' carpets stained with espresso. Nobody has a good time, and you'll probably have to issue them a big refund, and they'll probably may not ever hire you again. So floor protector in every box, and just kind of decorative items, plants. This is a huge one. Just our rollout, kind of multi-carrier. Phone chargers for baristas. Can't be having their phones die. So phone chargers, condiment stuff, teas, business cards, and tools. These are also game changers. Like you could have something go down on site, and you need the tools to be able to repair it if it's just kind of the basic stuff. Because otherwise, these are the tools that you need to just fix all the small stuff that baristas can repair on site. And to have a service fail due to something that's easily repaired on site by a barista is really disappointing for everyone. So that's our green box. And that kind of concludes all of the organizational boxes. This really represents years of evolution, organization, what needs to be carried, what we don't need. I've had so many iterations of things, just way too many things, too few things. And then now it's like every single item has to kind of fight for its place and survival in these carts. It sounds silly, but it's a big decision for us now to add even a single new item into our cart, because now that every single item has to be, maintained. There has to be an inventory, a backstock inventory of it maintained. It may require, replacement. So that's why we've got to order it for our 57, soon to be close to 70 coffee carts when we build our next batch. So it's got to be ordered into all of our fleets. All of our inventory QR codes have to be updated so that our digital footprint of inventory really represents our physical one as well. So sounds silly, but a really big decision to add even a single extra item into our setup. So
learned through the hard lesson.
Yeah. Yep.
What percentage of this came through
all of them? 100%. 100% of every item here came through trial by fire. We had a real issue where it was missing, forgotten, damaged, broke, and we had a refund, upset client, bad review. Every single item has a story behind it of why it's included, why we have backups, and yeah, I never thought about it that way before, but facts.
Never make the same mistake twice.
Yep. So that about covers the box tour.
Well, you said you're about to build 14 more carts. So let's go see where that happens.
Let's see it. All right, this is where the magic happens, where we build the carts. Really, everything that you just saw, this is where we build, assemble, and produce it. And this is where we will drive all the carts out to the different locations. We'll U-haul them out. We're not quite advanced enough to put them on a pallet. But yeah, every cart of 57 now, soon to be 70 plus, everyone was built here.
Nice.
Where do we begin? We are, we're a little tight on space. Every time we start a new batch of carts, this entire place fills up. And then when the carts are done and they're shipped out, it gets emptied. We do a nice big clean. And so, pardon the mess. There's definitely, we're actively building carts right now. My favorite place to start is over here at our 3D printers and kind of the 3D print farm.
How many carts are you building right now?
4 that we want ready here in the next probably 4 weeks, and then we'll be building 10 more after that, probably for a spring launch of a new city.
Nice.
Here's all of our 3D printers. This is only less than half of our full fleet. There's only 6 here. I have 4 at my house that I use to kind of prototype before they go into production, and then I think we have 4 in LA, which is we've got kind of our fleet and facilities manager there that produces parts and distributes them out. Those are kind of replacement parts, but all the brand new parts on brand new carts are 3D printed here. So yeah, massive 10 kilogram, 22 pound spools of plastic, and when we're producing carts, these things are running nonstop. A bunch more, we just ordered probably 800 pounds of plastic or something like that, just for all the carts, all the fleets, and to last us, I don't know, it might last us 6 months before we...
What are the main parts that you 3D print, and why did you choose to make them yourself instead of buying them?
They don't exist. The parts, it's cheaper and easier to buy parts if they exist, but, I didn't realize I was going down a path when I built my own cart, and just for some of the operational efficiencies I was looking for, that it didn't exist. And so I started by building the cart, but then I realized that, to get what I wanted out of these carts, I had to design and build more custom carts to fit them, like the panels, the syrup containers, the organizers. Not all of them, I will say, are strictly necessary. I get enjoyment out of the design and build process. And so every new cart that gets built, it has a few more 3D printed accessories. And so that inventory of custom 3D designed parts, 3D designed and printed parts gets a little bit bigger and bigger every year. And that means, again, even when a new part is added like that, the maintenance for 3D parts, the processing, to remove all the unnecessary plastic that was necessary when it was being printed, but you don't actually need as part of the finished part. So that kind of processing and things like that can take a lot of overhead. We recently realized in our wastewater plumbing that flexible PVC tubing has what's called like plasticizers in it. That's what makes it soft. And the plasticizers were migrating from the PVC tubing into like the wastewater part we had 3D printed and like melting it and making it fall out. And so, things like that, we've got to use a different material. Now I have to print these parts for 70 carts and replace them in all fleets in all cities. And I'm like, well, I wish I would have got that one right the first time. But such as
And
life.
what are these printers? How did you decide to go for these? Is there a recommended printer if somebody was like, hey, I want to try this out, maybe I have a part that I can't find either and I really need it?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to, if you don't have 3D model skills, you'd have to pay somebody to design the part, and that process is very iterative, and there's a lot of, versions of the prototype, so it may not be, may not make sense financially for a lot of people, but if you do have 3D modeling parts, for sure, Bamboo Labs, that's like this brand completely revolutionized 3D printing for everyone. It's really like a plug and play. I watched a 15-minute YouTube video, unboxed it, set it up, and was printing. So Bamboo Labs is for sure my 3D printer brand of choice.
Nice.
You want to show us some of these parts, or just explain what they are?
Yeah. So this is a brand new cart. Some of these you may have seen. This is like, we print we get our sign mounting bracket custom fabricated, and so then of course we've 3D printed like the bracket for that. So our sign goes right in there. This is kind of like just a custom part for an espresso machine that helps make sure baristas don't like move the wrong paddle and make it non-functional accidentally. This is like a wastewater piece coming out of the espresso machine. You've seen this maybe if you've watched the other video or another portion of this video. This is kind of the organizer for our yellow box. This is the foundational mounting bracket for the overhead sign. So this slides into here. Actually, I can't do it because there's a leg in place, but slides into here, and goes like this. And then there's usually a 3D heat set insert. So then we can bolt on things into there. So just kind of weird custom parts that have evolved over the years. Let me see. Well, what else we got here? I guess that's everything on this table.
The thing I loved on this that I saw is he's got the names and the text for each piece, like exactly where it goes, so that you don't make any mistakes. You don't put the milk pitcher. I mean, you couldn't, but don't throw the filter basket in the milk pitcher location.
Yep.
Unacceptable.
Yep.
And if you peek in the yellow box and you see the word filter basket, you need to
Yeah.
go find a filter basket before you leave.
Look in the yellow box.
So we've just got some brand new plumbing boxes. These are like espresso machine legs. We produce these. We need a little more height than the stock ones could get us, and there was no off-the-shelf one that we could buy. And then also the rubber foot, like we've had espresso machines fall off the countertop. So got this really big, like high-traction rubber foot, whereas most of the other ones had like a very small point of contact on the rubber foot. So this one here, it's not directly part of the coffee cart. It's more for the warehouse storage. So you saw what the carts were resting on at the end of the black wire shelf, and that's what this is. This is a newer part. A lot of plastic required for this one. Also those bungee cords, the red and blue color-coded bungee cords that hold them in place. We had to design like 4 or 5 custom parts for that, like how it clamps to the vertical post, and then these custom bungee hooks so that baristas of any size and strength can just bungee that.
What do you do with the giant compressor?
Rivets all day. All of our carts are assembled with rivets. This is a espresso machine leg that's in partial assembly. We still have more to do on it, but all of these are rivets. This is a rivet. this is the part that goes at the tip of the riveting gun, and it's not connected to air or a battery right now. But then you put the two parts that you want to rivet together. You put them together. You put the rivet through it, and you pull the trigger, and then it compresses and like pulls the metal, and then like permanently attaches that part. You can drill them out and replace them if you need, but more or less permanent attachment. So yeah, I did the math. I think there's something like 800 rivets that are required to assemble one Goodhart Coffee cart. Could be more now because I think we added some parts and things like that. So that's what the air compressor's for.
Like, why spend 6 months customizing a cart, and why did it take so long to get those right?
Because I like doing that stuff.
Yeah.
But also unmatched operational efficiency is the second. Just that idea that I couldn't stop thinking about of like, if we're going to be doing, like, we have 4,000 events. We're going to have 4,000 events this year. That's actually, we have a lot more shifts than that. An event could have 2, 3, 4, 8 baristas. So we probably had over 5,000 shifts, maybe more this year. So 4,000 events, 5,000 plus shifts, just napkin math. So imagine 5,000 times these different people interacting with this coffee cart. And so it has to be super bulletproof because everything is like tens of thousands of times. A lot of times you're setting up and breaking down. So take those 5,000 shifts, multiply it by 2, and now there's like 10,000 times where the plumbing parts are interacted with per year. And when you start to think in those numbers, you want to get it right, and it's worth getting it right, and it's worth iterating on it so that people, like, hopefully my baristas have a pleasant experience, or like at least not, like, there could be a ton of friction. You should have seen the first iterations of this stuff, the horrendous plumbing and how awkward and janky everything was. And I remember thinking early on, like, no one else can work an event. There's too many weird things and like just weird ways you gotta like hip check this and blah 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 and ratchet strap, and it's like, no, I got to get rid of all the weird things. And so for years I've been trying to get rid of the weird things about the cart so that like it's hopefully a pretty pleasant user experience. As the owner of Goodhart Coffee, I really have, 4 people that I kind of consider my customer almost. Like, obviously, the end customer who's paying for the coffee cart service, they're my customer. I need to care about their experience. My admin leadership team, the people who do the sales and do the operations and staff the events, like, I need to give them a good experience. And then the baristas, like, I need to give them a good experience. And so that's kind of my job, is trying to go around and just make everyone's experience a little bit better. And so that's why I've spent an absurd amount of time doing, weird 3D printing projects.
Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Justin, and giving us the deep dive tour. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I do want to say, this is kind of the mechanical side. This is boots on the ground, hands on espresso machine side of things. But this same level of detail and thoughtfulness and operational excellence, we've also brought, to the online systems that organize your lead intake form, bookings, invoices, logistics, all of that. We have built out the digital equivalent of this sort of stuff in FlashQuotes to make your life easier. This is, of course, is all me, is all Goodhart Coffee, but every day me, Zach, and Daniel are talking about how can we help all coffee caterers through the challenges that they may have in their systems. And so, FlashQuotes, if you're a new coffee catering company, FlashQuotes is really a no-brainer. I hope you've also learned something useful. Maybe you can improve on just the nuts and bolts operational side, but if you want to talk kind of higher level, organization, sales, and that sort of thing, get in touch, book a call. We'd love to have you join FlashQuotes and start getting the benefit from that.